Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Irv Homer Show. It is Wednesday, November the 12th, the day after Veterans Day. And of course, we were off yesterday. So we want to applaud all of the people who showed up for the various Veterans Day parades and pay tribute to the guys and gals that have served in our military. I don't think the women get the credit that they deserve, but we had an awful lot of women serving in the military. And fortunately, every once in a while, some politician jumps on the bandwagon and says, let's recognize some of the women that have served besides those in the nurse corps. It is Wednesday, November the 12th. Once again, the Irv Homer Show is dedicated to telling the truth as much as we can. I know it embarrasses you. I know many of you get angry, but you're going to hear things here that you don't hear anyplace else because the truth is a very difficult thing to swallow. It's difficult for me to swallow. I remember the first time I did the Oprah Winfrey Show. And there were 5 talk show hosts on the program. And this was before she was syndicated in Chicago. And she said, what makes you different, Irving? I said, I tell the truth. She said, well, how can that be controversial? I said, you really want to know, Oprah? Yes. I said, well, okay. You're black and you're fat. And the audience went berserker. And the other 4 guests who were on the panel went berserker too. She said, well, you're rude and you're crude, and that is an intemperate remark to make. And I said, you want to know something, Oprah? You're absolutely right. Now, you thought I was going to get all bent out of shape about that. So the truth, ladies and gentlemen, hurts. Tonight's program is dedicated. One of the advantages, and I'm going to introduce my dear friend Pearl Polto, who has been no stranger to this program and will be no stranger to this program. And we're going to talk about credit and the changes since Pearl has been here the last week on the credit, the new credit thing, because every day, if you watch the cable news network, you see changes in credit and changes in finances. And for those of you who are concerned, it's important because the information that this lady has in her mind and the way she keeps on track on top of the credit business, the credit world, the financial world, is mind-boggling to me. And I don't pay homage to too many people, but this lady I take my hat off to because she knows her stuff. But tonight's program is dedicated to 2 particular listeners. And I had the pleasure of meeting this mother and son in person twice in some 35 years. And her name is Polly. That's not her real name, but I will use her name, Polly, and her son, Kanji. And every once in a while, I think, I got to call Polly and Kanji to see how they are. And you meet such great people in my business, Pearl, and you meet them, I guess, in yours too.
Yes.
That it's refreshing to know that they're still there, and they're still listening, and they're still concerned about you, as I am concerned about them. So, Polly and Kanj, if you're listening and watching, not only I, but my son Ron, who has known and spoken to you too for years, he also sends his best love and his regards. Once again, we do have a chat room here, and you can get on the chat room with your questions about credit. If you're having a credit problem, please don't hesitate to give us a call. Give us as much information as you possibly can, because just answering a question off the top of your head isn't an adequate answer, and Pearl will lead you by the hand. We also have a telephone number that you can call in, and that number is 215-253-8877. 215-253-8877. And let me remind you who Pearl Polto is. She's the author of books on credit. She's the author of a book called Credit Lifeline, which is mind-boggling. The other book is called Consumer Advocate. You, the consumer, are an advocate, or she's her advocate for the consumer. The other book here is interesting. Is credit, is America, what was it?
In America,
in America,
bad credit a prison term. That's in the first show I ever appeared with you.
That's right. Is bad credit a prison term?
1987.
And another book, Easy Guide to Good Credit, and the book called Credit Lifeline. Now, all of these books are available for you to educate yourself on what credit is, good, bad, or indifferent. But I think more important, Pearl, we got to teach your kids
Yeah.
what credit is, the good side of credit and the bad side of credit. And we don't teach money for a capitalist country. We don't teach anything about money. We don't teach anything in school about credit. We don't teach anything about anything. And so what you have to do is hire a lawyer. Well, Pearl has had the experience of speaking with lawyers and going to Congress and finding out that lawyers don't know any more than you know or I know. So, Pearl, with that being said, and once again, if you have any questions about your credit rating, how do you get a credit rating? What is a good credit rating? How do you not pay your bills? What about your mortgage? Is it delinquent? You read about these things, and I had lunch today, Pearl, with a gentleman who said, and I'm sure you hear it all the time, I never thought it would happen to me.
I hear it every day.
How many
Every
times
day.
do you hear that, Pearl?
Every day I hear it. But it's the truth, though. It doesn't happen to a lot of people, and it's hitting home. And it's not just the poor. It's the middle class. It's the rich. It's doctors, lawyers. I mean, even bankruptcy attorneys. It happens to. So you'd be surprised. I always say no one is exempt. And one time I wanted to shake the hand of a person that never had a credit problem. I said I was going to go up to Atlantic City to shake Donald Trump's hand. Can't shake his hand either.
Not now.
He has a credit problem as well. Everyone out there should know you're going to run across a credit problem because of lack of education. So it's not just paying your bills. The good people with credit, or even having credit problems, as I said in the last show that I did, credit card companies are now hurting people with good credit. They're saying, we gave you a $25,000 limit, now we're decreasing it to $10,000 and we want you to pay it. So now they're pushing people into credit problems. But I do have good news tonight. For the first time I have good news. Everyone out there knows, and if you do not know, I help people with credit problems. I help people raise your credit score. I help people delete things. I help people deal with the bill collectors. And I educate people on raising their credit score. And yes, I do perform a service. But I have breaking news, and we just got it a couple days ago. For the first time, anyone out there, and let me read this because this is really important. For the first time, I'm giving you a chance, nationwide, I don't care where you're from, nationwide, to start over in your entire life. What I mean by this is, if you own property, and let's say you're back on your mortgage, or let's say your mortgage payment is sky high. Let's say it's 7%, 9%, and you cannot afford to pay it. Or let's say you were going to file foreclosure. Well, how would you like your same mortgage to be lowered to 5%? Not a refinance now. How would you like your same mortgage to be lowered to 5% interest rate? And I know you're all raising your hands and saying me, me, me. And it's simple. It's not complicated. And all you do, what we're doing is, it's going to save you the aggravation. It's not a refinance, as I said. That's the refinancing is the trouble and the headaches. Some mortgages can even be froze for 6 months or longer. If anyone out there, it's simple rules, and we will be doing all the work. And all you have to do is call my toll-free number, which is simple. If you have any questions, call in tonight, or even email tonight, or go on the website, because this is what we do. So I'm giving you, not only to help you with the credit problems, but now if you're a homeowner back on your mortgage, this is really great. Because let's say you had a 10% interest rate, and you're saying, I'm stuck. Not anymore, because just for a couple pieces of paper, you're going to have 5%. Now, it could be 30, 40, or 50 years on this 5%, but still, it's 5% and not your 10%. So it's going to cut everything in half. Yes.
You're on the air, on the line. Go ahead, please.
Hey,
Please
thank
lower
you
your
for calling.
speaker.
Rolling in. Hello, Pearl. Pearl, I got a question for you. I really don't care about like credit. I do pay my bills, and I do have like a credit card or two, but I really don't even use them. And every day they send me stuff. So what does that tell you?
Well, it's not that they send you stuff. What they're sending you is called pre-approved. The pre-approved are not really pre-approved. What they're doing is they want the information from you to pull a copy of your credit report to lower your score. So when you get this information, throw it out.
Amen. Now, my wife's mother passed on about, say, 8 years ago, and she still gets credit cards in the mail.
Wow. And you know what? You're going to have to put an end to that, because somebody else could be stealing her identity and getting credit cards in her name.
Oh
You
my
definitely
God.
have to put an end to this, because if they're sending you, here's what I'm going to suggest. You're going to have
Okay.
to pull a copy of her credit report, because it sounds like to me, for them sending her information and she died, somebody else is using, it could be in your family, that's using her identity.
thank you, because she gets stuff for cars, rugs, vacuums, credit cards, everything in the mail comes in her name, and she's been gone for 8 years.
No, something's wrong. Somebody's taken her identity. Somebody is definitely stealing her identity. You definitely have to pull a copy of her credit report. Call my toll-free number at the end, 1-800-876-CREDIT. Give me the information. We will pull it to see what's on it, and then we will send it out to you.
Thank you. You got a nice website too as well.
Thank you.
Okay, Vince, thank you.
Yes,
If
sir.
you do call 215-253-8877, 215-253-8877, question for Pearl Polto, please give your first name so we'll know who you are. Now, Pearl, let's suppose somebody dies.
Right.
Do you notify the credit reporting company that that person is deceased?
No, you don't have to. What you do is, if they had credit cards, you would notify all the credit card company that you can send them a death certificate if they had credit cards. And this is the sad part, because just as he said, a lot of these scam artists are going to homes where people did die or retired, or cemeteries, and they file to get a credit card. Now the system is so whacked up and screwed up that yes, they're getting credit cards into a different address, and then it bypasses to give the right address. This is why this gentleman is getting information. Yes, the next caller.
What's your first
Hello.
name? What's your name, sir?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
What's your name, sir?
Ralph Kravitz.
Well, no,
I'm
Okay, Ralph, that's good enough. Your question for Pearl, Ralph.
Hey, Pearl, how are you?
Good.
How's it going?
It's going.
What are we talking about? Sorry, I wanted to try to call you at 6, but I was running a little late here.
Oh, this is Rob Kravitz, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
How are you tonight?
This is good. This is the guy. This is my investor. This is the banker. This is the guy who's giving. We're in partnerships right now. This is the person. I'm glad you called. This is the person that's making this happen. We joined forces. He joined forces with me, with the consumer advocate, myself, Pearl Polto, credit expert, and we're giving people all over the country. Rob, if you can explain it in pure English to the people exactly when they call me and they want their credit done or they want their mortgages, how does it work?
Absolutely. My pleasure. What we're doing now is simply modifying interest rates, loan programs with existing lenders to something that's affordable, or righting the wrongs done by other mortgage companies all over the country. It's as a result of a lot of the federal government pressure on these banks. The banks are trying to get these people back into good loans. The people that kind of been caught into adjustable rates, been caught into high rates, got stuck with these possibly negative amortized loans. I mean, it's a big mess out there still, and it's actually one of the few times that I'm actually proud of my government that they're actually came through and they're helping people out here. They're putting a lot of pressure on the banks to deal more favorably with companies like the one that I've set up.
Well, you know what, Rob? I really hope we save the whole world with this, and I think we can. Not just with people with good credit, but people with credit problems, losing their home. I think we can make a dent in this world with a lot of people right now.
Well, the best part about it is that it actually is reaching the people that need it most right now. So we closed, I believe, just over 900 people last month, October alone.
Wow.
And it really just puts a smile on my face when I see some of these people who are really saving their lives. I mean, some people with adjustable rates that they thought they'd never be able to get out of, 10, 11%. They owe more than the place is really even worth now. No way out, not too much income that they even show. Some of these people, maybe, there's a serious situation, like maybe a husband, one of my clients, he had an injury as a detached retina. He can't go back to work for a little while, can't afford to pay his mortgage. We were able to negotiate with his investor a 5% 30-year fixed interest rate, along with a 4.5-month interest reserve. So he has a break for 4.5 months while he gets his surgery. They can actually, he actually doesn't need to pay his mortgage for 4.5 months. And once he gets back to work, his loan will be modified down to 5%.
You know, Rob, what I'm doing is tonight I'm going to have a lot of people contact me. They're going to have their cake. It's going to be a win-win situation for many out there that's listening. And if you are listening, pass the word around. You're going to have your credit corrected, lower your mortgage, and I thank you, Rob, for joining partnerships in with me with this.
Thank you. Absolutely. Anytime. Feel free.
Thank you.
Now, Rob, can I ask you a question? Hello?
He's off.
Oh, he's on. Well, let's assume. Well, let's go to the chat room, Pearl, and see what our friend Dave from Delaware City says. Irv, I have credit problems due to a divorce. How can someone like me with no home or assets get started again in this terrible economy?
I love this guy because this is the easy answer. This is the easy answer. I have a lot of people that are in the process of divorce or getting a divorce. You don't even have to get a divorce and you have credit problems today. But the sky is the limit for you. And yes, we can help. I can help you. And here's how I can help you. First thing I do is I pull a copy of your credit report. Naturally, I'm going to see a lot of charge-offs. Well, let me tell you the good news. When an account is charged off, so you understand, the creditor wants to get paid. But he cannot get paid by you because you're in a process of a divorce and a bad divorce. But he wants to get paid. So he goes to his accounting and says, what can I do? His accounting says, write off this account off the income taxes. So it's called charge off or profit and loss when you pull a copy of your credit report. Now when I get this, I see charge offs and profit and loss. I love to see them. And here's why. Because when I dispute it, that tells me the creditor got paid. He sold it to a bill collector. It's the bill collector harassing you, not the creditor. But the bill collector, you do not owe a third party. So you don't have to pay this bill collector. Me personally, I'm trying to put them all out of business. When I get the credit report and start disputing, the law states the credit bureau has to investigate it with the original creditor. If the original creditor does not respond back in 30 days, not 7 years now, 30 days, it's the credit bureau's job to delete this account. So you don't have to wait 7 years to correct credit problems. You don't have to wait 7 years to start over again. And with this mortgage, again, as I repeat, it's a win-win situation. But what you're doing is you're starting fresh, minimum of 30 days. So stop sitting back. We could turn this economy around. It's not so tough if you get educated. But now we can educate the people that have high mortgages. Again, it's going to be a win-win situation on them as well. So Dave, yes, I can help you. I will be giving out my toll-free number. If you have a pencil and paper, 1-800-876-CREDIT, C-R-E-D. You call up and you say, Pearl, I wish to become your client and send me out your credit package. It's free. I will send you out my credit package and it goes out priority mail and then you make the choices. It's that simple. 1-800-876-CREDIT, C-R-E-D.
Now, Pearl, Dave introduces it. Our telephone number, 215-253-8877, 215-253-8877, or you can go to our chat room on the Irv Homer Show. And we're broadcasting from irvhomer.com. With moving away from credit per se, Pearl, but in many divorce cases, I've known of one particular law firm in Philadelphia that should be in jail because of some of the crap they pulled representing divorced women.
Yes.
And I think you know who I'm
Yes.
referring to. However, that being said, our attorney or people, if you're listening to the program or viewing the program and you're in the midst of a divorce, what words of advice do you have for your attorney, whether it's the male or the female, regardless of whose fault it is? How important it is at the time of the divorce to take into consideration extending credit and whose cards it's in and who's going to be liable for that debt?
You know,
Do these attorneys ever mention it in a divorce settlement?
No.
Because this one scumbag never mentioned the
None of
IRS
them
liens.
do. None of them do.
So
First-
this is important if you're contemplating a divorce, guys.
First of all, even if you're not divorced, before we lead into divorce, if you're not divorced, every husband and wife out there should have their own credit cards, for one. Separate credit cards, not in case of death or case of divorce. That's one. In a case of, you have to remember now, the first thing a person thinks of is, let's run to an attorney. Nothing against attorneys. I'm a paralegal. I have family members that are attorney, but attorneys do not know credit laws. They just know bankruptcy law. So if you were getting a divorce and you went to your attorney and you would say, I'm getting a divorce, what do I do? It's all messed up. He would say, file bankruptcy, we'll end it all. We'll put it in a degree, we'll put it in your divorce. It doesn't work this way. It doesn't work. you would be more educated than this attorney. And here's why. Let's say, I always say at one of my seminars, there's two offices. Here's the attorney's office and here's my office. If you go to an attorney and say to them, I have a credit problem, I'm getting a divorce, what would you do? The attorney would say, stop the bill collectors, file bankruptcy. End of story. Wrong. That bankruptcy is also the law. It's got to stay on your credit report from 7 to 10 years. Now you come to my office and you say, what do? I have a credit problem. I owe everybody. I'm back on debt. I'm back on my mortgage. The bill collectors are harassing me. What do? I would say to you, the first thing we're going to do is stop the bill collectors from harassing you. And if they harass you, you have a legal lawsuit case with our consumer protection attorney. That's one. Second of all, we're going to correct and dispute with the credit bureaus to remove all the negative accounts. And thirdly, you're definitely not going to pay bill collectors. People come to me after the fact, after they paid a bill collector $5,000, $10,000 and thinking they're negotiating. They're negotiating on behalf of an attorney or their divorce and saying, well, I negotiated. How come it's still on my credit report? Because you paid the wrong people. And all this is education. This should be in the schools, but it also should be in the homes for you to teach your children, but it's not. No one is going to knock on your door to say to you, I'm going to educate you on the process of credit. I had to take years, 25 years, to be educated on credit, and no one's going to knock on your door. So don't make the mistake in staying back and saying, well, this will correct it by itself. In 2 more years, it'll be 7 years. All my credit's going to be corrected. If that was the case, in 1987, I would not have written my first book called In America Is Bad Credit a Prison Term? This is the first show that I ever appeared on Earth Homer, believe it or not. Because back then, you thought you waited 7 years, you were clear. It doesn't work that way. They could keep you for a lifetime with bad credit if you don't dispute it or correct it. And if you're married, getting a divorce, now's the time to straighten out your life, straighten out, and do not go, no offense, but do not go to your nearest attorney. They only know bankruptcy laws. And let me tell you, I have attorneys who are clients of mine, even bankruptcy attorneys who are clients of mine. And I'm a paralegal, but it has nothing to do with credit laws. Credit laws are found in Congress. As I've said, it doesn't go into the law schools. And that's the sad part when it comes to divorces even.
But the bottom line is that if you're involved in a divorce, you think that you're going to get rid of the spouse, the credit cards are an important part of the divorce settlement.
Yes, if it's not in collections. If it is in collections, no one should pay for it. No one should pay for it.
But I mean, that's up to the individual client, whether it be the spouse, either spouse, for them to get that thing resolved before they walk in to the divorce or the master's hearing or whatever it is when you're involved in a divorce.
Pull a copy of the credit report, and then you'll see what counts are charged off and what counts are not charged off before you go to that attorney. So the attorney doesn't say, let's put it down on the list, and you're paying wrong people, including that attorney.
We're taking your questions on the Irv Homer Show with Pearl Polto, the author of 5 books. And we're speaking about your credit and the dangers and the positive side of credit. Pearl, the average person files divorce and it's 7 years, right? Let's assume that there's a reversal, the health improves of the person starts making money. And is there any way to go to the credit companies and say, listen, here's 3 years of me being a solid citizen, paying my taxes, I have X number of assets. How can I get this bankruptcy thing knocked down from 7 years to 3 years or 4 years?
Well, it sounds good, but you're living in a dream world because no creditor 3 years later can accept your money. It's not that they won't, but they cannot accept your money because if they accepted your money at 3 years by saying, you're doing the right thing, you're a responsible adult, and everybody legally and morally is supposed to pay their bills. But after, let's say you had a health problem, you're back on your job, and then you contact these creditors and you say, you know what, I'm morally responsible, I want to pay my bills. No, they won't let you.
Well, even if you have, let's assume you have a record of 3 years, say, that you've paid all your utility bills, your rent, whatever it is, and you have established, by all definition, a good line of credit, whether for the bank. There's no way to cut that. Is that 7 year mandatory by federal statute,
no.
State statute? Who set that?
The 7 year, the 7 year statute is under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The 7 year statute says an account may stay on for 7. That big word "may" is important. Stay on for 7 years, but under under the same law, under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, under Section 611, which is in my book Credit Lifeline, under the same law, a bill can be disputed with the credit bureau, and under that same law, if the creditor does not respond back to that credit bureau in 30 days, not 7 years, that account, the credit bureau's job is to delete it. Do they delete it? They have no choice, because that's under federal law. All credit is under federal law. There's also state law. There's state law to each state when it comes to each city. But when it comes to federal law, we're in control. The person has more rights in not paying a bill collector. Don't ever, ever, ever pay a bill collector, because I'm trying to put them out of business. I could put them out of business.
Listen, we had one call after the show last time we were here, so
I wish they would have went
if the
through.
bill collector's calling now, please call in.
Please call in,
you
because
can talk to Pearl.
I want to put them out of business, because you do not owe a third party. That's one. You owe the original creditor. So you didn't sign no contracts. The bill collector's only there to harass you to get money. And as I explained on one show, so you understand how it works. You owe me money, and as you owe me money, I want to get paid, but you can't pay me. So I go to my accounting. My accounting says, charge it off, Pearl. Just charge it off. And he does. In the meantime, Irv is my neighbor and says, can I buy this debt? Take it. I've already got paid. He harasses you. He calls you every day, calls you at your job, all illegally, but he collects some money off of you. He's happy. I'm happy. You're not happy. And then when you go for a mortgage or a car payment, it's still on your credit report what you owed me. Charge off, and you're saying, but I paid. No, you paid the wrong person. So all this education, it's all this misinformation that you've been informed for all these years. Now is the time to set the record straight, and you're hearing it live right here, worldwide, what to do, what not to do. And this is so important.
Once again, Pearl Polto's toll-free number is 1-800-876-CRED. That's C-R-E-D. 800-876-CRED, C-R-E-D. Our telephone number to get on the Irv Homer Show is 215-253-8877. We have a chat room available for you, and we'll go to the chat room, Pearl. And this is John from Cochranville. What happens when your spouse dies? Do you have to pay her credit bills?
Good question. Now, that answer is when we said earlier about the husband and wife joining forces. If you have, let's say your wife dies and it's only, the credit cards are only in her name only. No, you do not have to pay. And the reason why I'm saying this, I appeared on a national talk show one time. A woman called up and said, my husband just died and I owed $10,000 and I paid it. And I will mention it was American Express. Well, what happened with American Express?
Shana, stop barking. That's rude.
What happened with American Express was she paid it. We called up American Express live on the air and said, why did you make the spouse pay for it? And they said, we didn't make her. She just volunteered the services. Volunteered it. So if your spouse died and the credit card was in one person's name, her name, you do not have to pay. Send them a death certificate. Send them a death certificate and say, end of story, do not call me and do not harass me. Now, if your credit card was in two people's names, different story, but I would send them a death certificate, and only if you're still using this card, or you can close it. So that should end it. And I love it with your dog, because I had a dog, and we called it Credit Dog. She used to, every time I talked about bill collector, she barked and growled. Well, and I said, yours is the new Credit Dog here.
Well, that new Credit Dog is going to have a funeral if it don't stop barking, or it's going to go in the other room. Pearl Polto was our guest, folks. We're speaking about the importance of credit involved in a divorce situation. With any of your questions, we're willing to take on our telephone line at 215-253-8877, 215-253-8877, or you can get on the chat room. Now, so it's practically impossible, Pearl, to reduce that 7-year term to a 3-year term, even though you can prove that you've been
You don't have to prove it. You don't have to prove it at all. All you have to do is dispute with the credit bureau.
I don't mean disputing with the credit bureau. I mean you legitimately filed bankruptcy.
You filed bankruptcy.
And there was a reason for it, and they know why. But now you're back on your feet again.
Okay.
After 3 years of showing that you're a good credit risk, that you pay all your bills.
But it's still on your credit report. Bankruptcy is still on your credit report.
But here's my receipts. Here's everything from my utility company. Blah blah blah. You still You still carry that prison term, as you
yes,
say.
yes, you will until you dispute it and correct it, and that's what I do for my clients. We have another phone.
Right. Pearl, can credit card...
Phone call.
Yes.
Oh, we have a phone call.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello,
Yes, what's your first name?
Phil.
Phil? You're on the air with Pearl.
How can we help you?
Well, I'm just tuning in now, calling in now. What is your agenda that you're speaking of so I can ask my question?
Credit cards, bill collectors, bad credit, and how to, if you have a bad mortgage and you're trying to get ahead on your mortgage.
I don't think there's any chance. Do I ask questions or make statements?
Either one. We're very
Either one.
flexible
Who
on this
cares?
program, Phil.
Okay, Irv, you're the best, so I will. I think the country is in economic crisis that will not be resolved or solved for many years.
I agree.
I think a lot of people have their fingers crossed, but there's nobody in Washington, in either party, Republican or Democrat, that has any clue of what to do. I think they're in an entanglement. I think they have a major problem with General Motors. If they allow General Motors, like the airline several years ago, to go bankrupt and blow out the pension people, they have a huge problem. The unemployment is probably going to approach 8 to 10%. We may be in worse shape now than when Carter was president with the interest rates.
Until now, Phil, because we're out here to help the people nationwide, and I can help the people. Actually, believe it or not, 5 years ago, I had a solution to Washington how to resolve all this. I actually sat down with Congress people on how to resolve this credit problems with the credit cards and all. And their answer was credit card companies, and one of them was Citibank, believe it or not. I still have the letter. I said to them, we could put, to all this friction out there, have pictures on credit cards. They said it would cost us $1 billion. We can't do it. Now what happened is they went out of business. A lot of them went out of business, these credit card companies, and they're spending billions of dollars on the fraud and everything else. Washington can be corrected. The people, it's up to the people to get educated to turn this economy around. So when you say Washington's going to go under, we're going to go under, yes, it can happen, but we can also turn the forces. And we're here tonight, believe it or not, with the credit crunch. Yes, I can turn somebody's credit around. Yes, now, as of today, with the breaking news, I can turn their mortgage around where no one has to go on foreclosure.
Well, now, Phil just mentioned that he had just tuned in. So, Phil, listen carefully what the proposal is today. Pearl, what is that about?
What's happening
about mortgages?
today?
And we don't know whether you have a mortgage or not, Phil, but if you do know folks that have a high interest rate mortgage, listen carefully. You may be able to help your neighbor or your relative.
And please pass it around. Please pass this around. If you're not if you're listening and you have a family member, friends, neighbors, if you're behind, these are the steps. If you're behind on your mortgage, that's one. Let's say your interest rate is too high and you can't afford it. Or let's say you were going to file for foreclosure. Now, you're one of the people that the government is helping right now, and all you have to do is call me, and I will set it up with 3 days to 2 weeks. What we're doing is, it's a refinance without the refinance. We're going to lower your mortgage to 5%. Is it too good to be true? It's happening. We've done it. You heard the mortgage broker. You've heard the banker that called in earlier, that we're associated with these investors now, with the government. And what we're doing is, all it takes is simple documentation. It's not like a refinance. You don't have to go get the appraisal. All it is filling out some papers. Yes, I could save. I could turn the economy around a little bit to as many people as I'm hitting. But it's going to be up to you to pass the word around. So when I say a win-win situation, I will do your credit, and I will get you that mortgage to 5% interest rate. All you have to do is call me to say, Pearl, send me out your package. It's that simple. Send me out your credit package. 1-800-876-CREDIT. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. And if we could change the economy around, and we will, believe me, that's my goal for 2009. We can do it. You can do it. And I think it can be done right now with these good options.
Okay, I agree with you in theory. My question is, how many of the people that you have helped so far are gainfully employed, and that the earnings after taxes are enough to pay their debt
and have spending money for the food, shelter, and clothing.
Okay, well,
Well,
this is where the mortgage
I
comes
think
in
Bob
at.
mentioned that on the last.
Yes, Bob
the
did
last
mention
call.
it. What?
He-
Go
he-
ahead.
And then you continue. Phil, a mortgage a gentleman called in who works with Pearl earlier before you tuned into the program. 900 clients last month he helped. So apparently you must be working to be able to pay something.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
work. You have to be working. And what you're saying is I don't understand your part, because there's a lot of companies out there, they're going under, and I see on the news a lot of companies aren't going to be paying. But this is for these people too now, because if you're just lost your job, you don't want to lose your home too. So you're going to have some good news, and the holidays are coming up. So this is the best time to lower that mortgage rate. And now's the time to correct your credit at the same time. You're going to correct your credit, get your mortgage down to 5% interest rate, and you know what? It can happen. I've been doing it for 25 years, but tonight was the breaking news for the mortgages. So Phil, please, there's a lot of people out there we can help, and a lot of people out there do not want the help. They're stagnant. It's like that commercial, the phone's ringing and everybody's eating and then no one's answering the phone. If you're sitting there and you're in trouble, pick up the phone. That's all you need to do, because we can help you now. Thank you, Phil.
Phil, I will volunteer my services free because I'm retired.
Oh, okay.
If you need help, I'm offering my services through you to you or to the people to be able to, one at a time, get these people back to paying, get the mortgages.
I love it. I love it. Phil, I want you to call.
How do you want me to get to you?
I want you to call my toll-free number, 1-800-876-CREDIT. 1-800-876-CREDIT. Leave your name, leave your address. I will send you out my information, and then you can call me back, and then we can discuss it. Because there's many people that we can help, and you can be a part of it. I have so many people joining forces with me right now, because I'm on a mission right now. If I can take this national, and I will, and this is going to do it tonight, and many other shows like this, if we could take it national and turn the economy around, you know what? That'll do it. That'll do it.
Well, on behalf of Irv, that's why I'm calling in. I will call you right after we hang up.
Thank you.
For my services, and welcome. I'm glad to have you back, Irv, on the radio.
Thanks so much, Phil, and please call again.
I will.
Take care, my dear friend.
Bye-bye.
Let's go to our chat room. Our chat room is available on the Irv Homer Show. Once again, we're broadcasting from irvhomer.com. And check out the website. You'll find RGH Computer Services there. They will solve all your computer needs. And also, do you ever want your own internet broadcasting show? Well, RGH can make it happen. You can develop an audience, promote your business, showcase your profession, attract new clients. You can even broadcast from our studio over the internet here as well. You get to pick your own time slot, have the show recorded and archived as well. Now, for more information about our rates, please contact RGH Computer Services. Ask for Ron or Steve, 215-322-8685, the number, 215-322-8685, and you too can put this package together for yourself. Before we go to the chat room, Pearl, can someone co-sign a credit card? In other words, if you have somebody and say, well, listen, their credit is, I'll co-sign a credit card for $10,000.
No, not a credit card. A car loan, yes. You can become an authorized user of the credit card, but not a co-sign. It's called an authorized user. Let's say
and what is an authorized credit card user?
Okay, I have good credit, you have bad credit.
Right.
And I get a card.
You don't have to tell the whole world that.
And let's reverse it. You have good credit, I have bad credit.
No, she don't. Okay, go ahead.
And I get the credit card, and I tell my credit card company, I want an authorized user, and give it to you. So you will have your own card with your own name on it. The bad news of this, though, and this is bad, and I don't authorize it, because you're the authorized user, and you have good credit, or let's say I have good credit, and you're using my card, and let's say you say to me, well, I'll pay the bill because I'm an authorized user, and you don't, you skip a day or a month. Well, now I have bad credit too, just because you're the authorized user and you have bad credit, and then the two people, when you die or divorce or whatever, are responsible for it.
So you can co-sign a regular automobile.
Regular automobile, but not a credit card.
Pearl, can credit card companies lien your house for a debt at this time?
No. And that's a question I've been asked every day. As a credit expert, let me say something to you. First of all, credit cards, I call them in my book the casino card, because it's exactly what it are. The banks are taking a chance on you. If you look at your agreement, when you filled out a credit card, it does not say, I'm going to take your home, take your car. The only people that can take your home or take your car is secured debt. Your mortgage can take your home naturally. Your car, your bank can take your car, repossession. And even that could be removed from a credit report, may I add. But the thing is, credit cards are unsecure. Now, when they threaten you, and I'm seeing, because I get this every day, people call me to say, I'm getting calls from the bill collectors who happens to be an attorney. They're going to put a lien on my property. Wrong. The only lien that can be put on your property is of your mortgage. Now, when an attorney calls you, and he says, I'm from the office of ABC, law firm, you say to him, are you an attorney? Because majority of the times they're not attorneys. And if they were attorneys, they're not allowed to harass you either, because under the Fair Debt Collection Act, they're under the same guidelines as the bill collectors, and that's of 6 years ago. Many attorneys were harassing people and threatening them, taking their property, doing a lot of things which were illegally, may I add, and the Federal Trade Commission said we're coming down strong on attorneys now, so they have guidelines too, and they cannot tell you what they're going to do unless they do it. So don't ever, we picketed in front of an attorney's office this past summer because one attorney did illegally go into the funds of a widow because of her husband not paying it. And thank God she knew me. We reversed it. And we picketed in front of the attorney's office just to give a message out there that they're not allowed to do things illegally, and they do. You know, we have a little terrorist in our own country with these bill collectors, and that's what I call it. They're terrorizing the people in our country. This should be forbidden in Congress, and with this new president in, I hope he puts a stop to it, because this is like a complete terrorism with the bill collectors, what they're doing to the people.
Pearl, before we go on a phone call, review this once again, because I think this is such prime importance of this breaking news today. And Pearl Polto knows this. We had one of our mortgage people call in who works with Pearl. Folks, this is so important. If you have a kid that's got a mortgage that's choking them to death, and before you answer that, before you go into this, Pearl, let me ask you this question.
God.
Let's assume, and I have a friend of mine who has 2 houses, thinking that if they bought another one, they'd be able to sell their house, which is about 5-6 years old, without any problem.
Okay.
So now they're carrying 2 mortgages. Both mortgages, I think, must be, I don't know what their finances are, it's none of my business, but I know carrying 2 mortgages and one of them with no income is a nut. Is this just on a primary residence, or if you have 2 properties, can you reduce the interest on both properties?
Yes, on both properties, as long as they're behind on it. As long as they're behind, or their interest rate is higher, like an adjustable, if they have an adjustable rate on the second one. Some of them have the adjustable rate on the second one and not the first one. It's the same thing. Same thing.
So it doesn't make any difference if this, until this second house is sold, this mortgage is choking them.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you what they can do, which he gave me the option to when I sat down with them, is the second one can be froze for so many months until they decide to sell it. I mean, the sky is the limit right now. The sky is the limit. And
now, they'll contact you?
They contact me. I'm not going to repeat it. Anybody out there, we're giving you a chance to start over again. You don't have to leave your property. You don't have to, you don't have to put your home in foreclosure. You don't have to file bankruptcy. We're going to make it so easy. I'm going to give you a win-win situation. If you're behind on your mortgage payment, that's one. If your interest rate is too high and you can't handle it because your bills are slacking up, your credit card debt, and just because your interest rate is too high, or you have an adjustable mortgage that's about to go up in 2009, or if you were going to file for your home's going up for foreclosure, all this, how would you like to be reduced to 5%? Does it sound easy? It's easy.
Now, why doesn't Mayor Nutter or Sheriff Green in Philadelphia get in touch with you and say, Pearl, because all I see is Sheriff Green, and I know him, and I know Mike Nutter, and we're going to say, why don't they just say contact Pearl, or bring you into the office and
I love it. I would love it, but
say,
it won't happen. It won't happen. It
Well,
won't.
they're politicians. How dumb can they be if the help is out there? Mike Nutter, if you're listening, or someone can get through to the mayor or get through to Sheriff Green, you don't have to be sheriffed out. If Pearl can be the answer,
Yes.
you should be sitting in the head of city council next to Ann Verna. And if you can get through to these knuckleheads in Bucks County,
No, it is starting though. I have a state representative did contact me. I will be doing next week in Huntington Pike a seminar for the
Good.
Spanish community.
Good.
So yeah, a state representative. It's starting to override. Matter of fact, if you have a seminar and you want me to attend your seminar, please call me. The same 1-800-876-creditor. It's so desperate what's going on here. As of last week, I did a home seminar. Actually, I went out to a
People's
home in Overbrook. And if you have 10 or 15 people, I will show up. And that's what I did in Overbrook, because now they passed the word around. They're saving their homes, and it's just snowballing, because the more people that you affect that are losing their homes. And if you're at a family gathering, just say, it's not embarrassing to say, if anybody here has a credit problem, does anybody here back on their mortgage? Is anybody here with a high interest rate? Today I had a Federal Express send me a package. And he says to me, what kind of work do you do? And I told him, he says, I'm back on my mortgage 4 months. I said, take my card, take my package, take it home, bring it back to me. I just saved his life. And he's a Federal Express driver. So it's all kinds of people.
the lady is looking for more work. She's got enough work on her head. You won't believe this idiot is now going out on a limb for even more.
Yeah, I'm on a mission, that's
Once
why.
again,
I'm
her
on a
toll-free
mission.
number is 1-800-876-CRED. That's C-R-E-D. She says credit, may confuse you. 800-876-CRED. Our telephone number, if you want to call in on the program, 215-253-8877. This lady knows credit. She knows, and listen, now, you know what I tell you, what you get for nothing is worth nothing. There is a fee, but the fee that Pearl charges, believe me, is well within range, and I will personally guarantee the results. If she can't help you, she'll be right up front and say, there ain't no help for you, Buster.
And I have a holiday special. I have a holiday special for my service, the 1-800-876. All you have to do is say, Pearl, send me out your package. Call up the toll-free. Leave your name. Leave your address. I will ship it out to your priority mail, and it's that simple. It is that simple. It's not gonna. I'm not making it complicated for anybody out there.
Here's an interesting question on our chat room, Pearl. If I have a credit card that is with a retail store that files for bankruptcy, do I still have to pay the debt if they go through with the bankruptcy?
Well, if it's on your credit report, and if it's not on your credit report, and the store files bankruptcy, what would I do personally? I'm only going to tell you what I would do. No, I would not pay. I would not pay it, because it just goes into their collection companies, and they already got written it off, or they filed bankruptcy. You would have to, and then somebody else takes over. Again, I'm going to repeat. Legally, what I would do? No, I'm not going to file. If a store filed in bankruptcy, why would you pay? Who would you pay? And where does it go? So you have to sit back to say who's taking over on the store, who's collecting on it, and if you didn't collect on it, it's going to go into collections anyway. But if you have good credit, do your homework. Find out who took over with this bankruptcy, who took over with this store. Like Macy's an example. Macy's could be hurting, but they still are collecting your money, and you're still going to pay your money to Macy's. So you don't want to ruin your credit either. But if you see the store is going under and you already have a credit problem, well, there's your answer right there.
I had a question from a waitress.
Okay.
For some reason or other, when you're in the communications business, they figure you wave a match. I feel like Moses sometimes, part the Red Sea. And this was her question. She bought a wedding gown on her credit card.
Okay.
The company shut down. Some of these wedding gown companies are notorious for doing that. Okay?
Okay.
The company's out of business. Didn't file bankruptcy, just went out of business. The Midnight Movers came in and moved them out.
Okay.
She went to get a wedding gown, no company. She's got that $1,200 on her credit card for the wedding gown. What does she do?
And the company went out of business.
They're not gone. They don't even know where the hell they're at.
Well, I would dispute with under the Fair Debt, there's a Fair Credit Billing Act. The Fair Credit Billing Act, she can dispute with the credit card companies, and the credit card company has to investigate it with this company, which cannot respond back, so it has to be deleted under the Fair Credit Billing Act. That's another law that we are access to under our credit rights. That's an easy one. Just write under the Fair Credit Billing Act to say, remove it, I'm not paying it, It's the creditor now has to respond back to that store that went out of business, and it's off of her bill.
But during that period of time, Pearl, she's not making any payments on that credit card debt.
If she's not making any
Because
payments,
she don't know who to send it to.
well, that's under the
She didn't get anything for it.
that's when she has to dispute it with the credit card
Okay.
company. She definitely has to dispute it under the Fair Credit Billing Act. That's what that law is all about, to dispute it with the credit card company saying, I'm not going to pay this.
I never got the goods, so I'm not going to pay
That's
for it.
the Fair Credit Billing Act. Those words are so strong. It's a law. It's an act. And this is how she cannot pay this bill with it. I mean, it's so simple with it. It's simple.
But I mean, when you're in the middle, you're getting married, you buy the gown and the flower and
Yes.
everything.
A lot of
Before you
people-
know it, the disappointment of caterers have done the same thing, photographers have done the same thing. You know the whole routine. Once again, let folks know about this and give your toll free. I am so impressed with this
Me
thing
too.
that you're bringing
Me
to the
too.
Earth Homer show tonight.
First
But I
time.
want to give you all the opportunity and time to beat over again to our listeners, to people that may be joining us now, for them to call their friends, to give the toll-free number for Pearl Polto, 1-800-876-CRED. Tell them what it's all about, Pearl. Once again, please.
If you call up the toll-free number, 1-800-876-CREDIT, if you have a credit problem, if you don't have a credit problem, but if you have a credit problem, we can give you your cake and eat it too. But the big news of today is the breaking news for all homeowners. And that is, if you're behind on your mortgage, if your mortgage interest rate is super high, not even super high, just high. Let's say you have an adjustable mortgage and you wanted it to be lowered, but you can't because of credit problems. And many clients used to come to me for all these years by saying, raise my credit score, Pearl, remove the negative so I can get a refinance. Well, the good news is you don't have to go through all this. You can have your cake and eat it too. What I mean by that is, we can clear your credit as we're giving you the mortgage rate of 5% and putting it through this process with our mortgage people. And it's the government. I mean, it should be out there. Everybody should be seeing it on the news, but they're not, because the presidency, that was on the news. Everything is on the news right now, but the important things. And if it was on the news, here's the sad part. If it was on the news, you probably wouldn't understand it anyway. So call my 1-800-876-CREDIT. I will send you out the information. And as your advocate, as a credit expert, I am running a holiday special for my service. Besides this, you're going to have your cake and eat it too. I keep on stressing this because it's so important when it comes to getting your life back in order. And if you want your life back in order before Christmas, we can make this happen before Christmas. We can lower this rate before. It only takes 3 days, the maximum 2 weeks. And the reason why I'm saying this is, once I send you out the information, it'll give you 5 guidelines to do. It'll say W-2s or whatever. You don't have to go through any appraisals, because this is worldwide. So you go to the guidelines, and once you get back to my people, all the guidelines, what they need. The minimum is 3 days. They can close this. This is why you heard him say 900 people, over 900. The maximum is 2 weeks. Why the maximum is 2 weeks? That's because you didn't get your paperwork, and there's no paperwork. It's W-2s, it's your balance sheet, whatever. It's only like 5 sheets. It's not an appraisal. It's very simple, very easy. And let me tell you, I did it myself. Because I may not like a 6% interest, and I wanted it down to 5%. And I'm not late on my mortgage. But the thing is, everybody can do it. This is why I said pass the word around. This is so important, not just for you, but for your neighbors, your friends, and your relatives.
A question before we go to the chat room. Does a reverse mortgage affect your credit in any way?
No, as long as you have good credit. Everything else can affect your credit. Pay in one day, but not
a reverse mortgage doesn't show up
No.
as a lien, nothing on your credit report.
No.
Okay. This is from Gail. What do you know about the firm NCO?
NCO is a collection company, a bill collector to be exact. An NCO is, and it's interesting because we have people now, and I have a particular person that joined forces with me. If you watched Fox News in the past of a Dr. Paul, and there was a bill collector that went behind the scenes. Well, the girl that went behind the scenes worked for a company, a bill collection company, which was NCO. Some of the bill collectors are sleazy, some of them are not, but some of them will do every technique in the book. I'll tell you why I'm against, especially NCO or other collection companies. When I pull copies of your credit report, it may see NCO down 5 times, but you only owe one bill to the creditor that you didn't pay, and they have you down as 5 times. So you need to know the companies, and you will. Creditors don't harass you. NCO, which is a bill collector, will harass you. And this is how you have to know the differences. And I hope you're asking this question because you're not paying NCO. Because you should not be paying NCO. And if you are paying NCO, you definitely need to call me because we're going to stop it ASAP. And then at the same time, we'll remove it from your credit report. And if we have to report NCO, we will. It's a collection company that you do not want to pay. So if they called you up and threatened you with any kind of news, and even like he said, Sheriff John Green, if somebody comes to your door and says to you, we're going to take your furniture, we're going to take everything, they're not allowed. This is a process of intimidation. And the reason why they're not allowed, and they know they're not allowed, they're doing it, again, I call it a little form of terrorism, because they know they cannot take your TV, your radio, whatever you have in your home, but they're telling you and scaring you that they will take it and they'll have an auction the following week. They cannot do it because your TV set could be mine. And if they took it, I could sue them, so could you, and you can report them. They know this. So you have to be more educated. So whoever knocks on your door to scare you, you could say, and it happens every day. You know, I have a consumer advocate, Pearl Polto. I'm going to be calling her right now. And when you do, and it's happened this week already, when you do, we could reverse it where they'll be running from your property or even report them to the Federal Trade Commission.
Once again, the 5 books that Pearl Polto is author of is Credit Lifeline.
Credit Lifeline is the only one right now.
Oh, that's the only one right
yeah.
now that's available. And you can avail yourself of that book by calling 800-876-CRED. That's 800-876-CRED. 800-876-CRED. Now, Pearl, we have a few moments to go, but I just want to add something to this. And I go back, my first introduction to credit.
Okay. 1950?
What?
1950?
You want to try 46?
Okay.
I came out of the Army, and we have in our family what is known as a family corporation.
Okay.
I think I explained that to you, and I explained it on the air many, many times. Where the families get together and buy stock in their own family corporation, have their own credit cards, have their own cemetery lots, have their own lending society, establish whatever interest you want to charge because they're all family members. It must be comes under the Small Banking Act of 1933. They grandfathered those charters. So I came out of the Army and I was used to deal with a family corporation. I never borrowed money from the bank to buy a car. I went to the family corporation, bought it from my family, paid it back. Went to buy my first house at 7337 Thoron Avenue in West Oak Lane. The Mount Airy. And so it was a big $13,000 for a duplex, 2-bedroom duplex with it. We can't sell you the house. You have no credit.
Mm-hmm.
When? I have no credit. Well, I said military service. Blah, 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 blah. I said, see my car? Here's the title. See this diamond my wife has? I don't have any credit cards. I pay cash for everything. Well, you going to pay cash for the house? I said, no. I had to go out and borrow money.
Yes, you did.
To establish credit,
mm-hmm.
to get the mortgage. So,
or a car,
or whatever it was. A brief moment, Pearl, on how to establish credit through your head. Young kids, college kids. Most credit cards are from pop and mom. They give them the credit card. For young people that don't have parents, that are new in the field of economics, how do they establish credit without going in? They don't want to go in debt. Right. They got a couple of bucks, but they got to get credit. They want to buy a house, they want to buy a car, 35, 40, 50,000.
Yes.
What's the best way to do it?
Best way to do is go to the mall, go into their men's store, ladies store, whatever, and say, look, I want to establish credit. I want to put something on layaway. I want to pay it, but I want you to put it on my credit report. That's one. The second way is...
And they say, well, you don't have any credit.
No, because you put something on layaway and you're paying them. The purpose of it is just for them to report it to the credit bureau. That's the only purpose, because you're paying them anyway. Okay. The second thing is the easy part. They can go to their own bank. And they can give the bank, let's say, $50, $100 to say, I want to borrow off of this money that I'm putting in my savings account just for the purpose of you putting it on my credit report, because I want to establish credit this way. But you're holding my money. I can't touch it, but I want to establish credit. And I'm borrowing off my own money. Well, the banks will do it too. The third thing is the gas credit cards. Naturally, the gas credit cards are the easy ones. Or if you can go, but the banks, the department stores are the best without people building up their credit score, because people are going wild. They're applying for all these credit card companies. They're getting turned down, and their score is dropping, and they don't know why. The more you apply for credit cards, your score is dropping, and even though if you have a high score, it can drop that quick. I mean, we can do a 3-hour show just on credit cards. I mean, there's so much knowledge out there.
So, but it is important to know how to establish credit, and to establish it with credibility. You want to move into the credit system.
Yes. Again, what I just said, now what's happening is, the scary part is, the credit card companies are going into the colleges. They're going into the high schools, and they're saying to these children, sign the form, we're going to get you a credit card. Now, who's responsible is the parents. So all these kids are signing it for $5. They're putting their name, their address, their social security. The parents are responsible, not the children.
Sure.
And some of the parents aren't even aware that their children are getting credit cards.
All right, now does that make the parent the co-signer?
Well, yes and no. Technically, the parent did not sign.
Right.
But the kids now are forging their parents' name as if they did sign. But it can be corrected, but it's a legal thing now, because the kids are forging their names, their parents' names.
We
just
didn't
to get
even
the credit
get
card.
into one of the things that I wanted to get into. Credit card debt at the casinos.
Oh boy, that's another thing. You're
That's
right.
the next
show.
The next show that Pearl Polto will be here on the Irv Homer Show. Pearl, you know it's always a fast hour when you're here. Once again, for all your problems with credit, this new mortgage breakthrough that Pearl is familiar with and introducing tonight on the Irv Homer Show, we're very proud that it's being introduced tonight by Pearl. If you need any information, just contact her at 1-800-876 CRED, 1-800-876-CRED. We want to thank Bob from the mortgage company for calling in. We want to thank Phil for calling in on our number, offering his services to Pearl. Once again, we've been broadcasting from irvhomer.com. My website is www.irvhomer.com. You can email me at evilerv@irvhomer.com. And once again, if you want to be a guest, if you think you have interesting to spend an hour with me, or if you know someone who wants some type of exposure, something that they've got to provide community service, feel free to give Ron a call at 215-322-8685, 215-322-8685. And once again, Ron, thank you very much. And once again, to Polly and Kanji, we love you. Thanks so much. Till the next time.